Imagine you are sitting in one of Apple's early board meetings. A tense atmosphere fills the room, everyone staring at Steve Jobs, the man who never did things the conventional way. You can feel the anxious tension spreading throughout the room as Jobs stands up, his eyes sharp, his vision bold. And then he speaks, not just as a leader, but as someone who's about to change the world forever. For him, creativity wasn't just a distant dream or a sudden burst of inspiration. It was a strategic force, a willingness to break every rule. Are you willing to take risks, to go against the crowd to make a difference? And most importantly, are you ready to change the world? Steve Jobs did all of that. But behind every great achievement, behind Apple's fame, there is a story that few people know. Success wasn't guaranteed from the start. Jobs faced shocking decisions. He didn't just lead Apple, he transformed the entire tech industry, even when he was doubted and criticized. But it was during these moments of apparent failure that Jobs created the strategies that would change the game. From developing the iPhone to turning Apple from a company on the brink of bankruptcy into a global empire. It wasn't just about groundbreaking products. Jobs created a culture of creativity where people didn't just work, but lived with the products, feeling the difference in every detail. But this isn't just a story of great achievements. It's a story of risky decisions, bitter failures, and how Jobs overcame it all to become a legend. You'll be surprised to hear about the bold choices Jobs made to ensure that Apple not only survived but ruled the world. Are you ready to challenge yourself? Are you willing to do what others never dared to even think of? Because what you'll hear in this video will make you rethink how you work, create, and even how you view yourself. Let's dive into the secrets behind Steve Jobs' innovation and creativity. The man who changed the world with ideas no one else dared to believe in. You'll learn lessons not just about technology, but about life and about how to overcome the challenges we face every day. Don't miss out, because what you're about to hear and see could be the key to unlocking unlimited creativity and change in your own work and life. Chapter number 1. Vision and passion. Steve Jobs wasn't just a business leader, he was a visionary strategist, someone with a deep understanding of the future and the ability to turn that vision into reality. Jobs never settled for simply creating good products. He was always looking for opportunities to change the world. Therefore, his career isn't just a story of business success, but also a story of boldness and a vision beyond time. Vision, seeing beyond and changing the game. One of the key factors that made Steve Jobs a legend was his ability to see opportunities that others couldn't. He always had a very clear vision of the future, and that vision was the driving force behind creating products that didn't just meet customers' needs, but actually redefined entire industries. A perfect example of this is the iPhone. When Jobs introduced the iPhone in 2007, most people saw it as just another smartphone. But Jobs didn't see it as merely a phone. He saw it as a global connection tool, a device that would allow people to work, play, and communicate anytime, anywhere. His vision was to create a product that users couldn't live without, a product that wouldn't just replace old technology but would open up an entirely new world. That's why the iPhone became not just a phone, but a device that changed the way people connected with the world around them. Jobs didn't just focus on the product, he also focused on the industry and society. He wanted to create products that could change the way people lived and worked. And he understood that in order to do this, each product had to go beyond the ordinary, offering value far greater than what customers expected. Passion, turning work into life and life into work. But Jobs' vision alone wouldn't have been enough without his immense passion. Jobs didn't just love technology. He saw work as an inseparable part of his life, and passion was his greatest motivator for driving creativity and innovation. This was most clearly seen in how he worked, and how he demanded that his team work tirelessly, always innovating and never accepting mediocrity. You could say that Jobs was someone who turned passion into a creative tool, transforming work into an expression of self. For him, work wasn't a responsibility or a burden. It was an opportunity to express creative ideas. His passion was what helped him push through obstacles, what allowed him to face challenges that seemed insurmountable. Jobs worked not for money or fame, but for a bigger purpose, to change the world. We can see this in the development process of Apple products. Jobs wasn't just focused on creating beautiful products. He always demanded that his team create something perfect down to the smallest detail, from the hardware to the software. Jobs firmly believed that perfection was not negotiable, and he pushed everyone at Apple to go beyond limits they didn't even think they could achieve. Only when you truly love what you do can you ask others to do things they didn't think were possible. A great example of this is the development of the Macintosh, the product that made Apple's name. Jobs demanded that engineers not only design a computer that was aesthetically pleasing, but also one that was so user-friendly that users could feel the difference in every interaction. Jobs' exacting demands pushed the Apple team to work relentlessly, and they felt that they weren't just doing a job, but contributing to a greater ideal, creating a passionate and creative team. Jobs' passion didn't just drive him, it also motivated the entire Apple team. He didn't just want to create great products, he wanted to build a creative team that was always looking for new ways to solve problems. Jobs knew that in order to succeed, he needed a team that shared his passion and vision. He demanded that employees always be creative, always experiment with new ideas without fear of failure. This freedom to innovate and an unyielding passion created a unique culture at Apple, where each person felt that their work was not just a job, but a critical part of changing the world. Jobs understood that to achieve success, you needed a team that was united by passion and vision. He pushed his employees not just to work hard, but to constantly challenge themselves to bring Apple beyond what they thought possible. And this culture of creativity and passion permeated throughout Apple, ensuring that the company always stayed at the cutting edge of innovation. Passion created an empire. Looking at it now, we can clearly see the power of Jobs' vision and passion. Thanks to the combination of vision and passion, Apple became not only a leading technology company, but also a symbol of innovation and creativity. And that's why the things Jobs created continue to impact the tech world today. So, what can we learn from Steve Jobs? It's that vision and passion aren't abstract concepts. They are the combination of seeing beyond the ordinary and taking relentless action to turn dreams into reality. If you can nurture and grow your vision, along with an unwavering passion, you too can make a difference and change the world just like Steve Jobs. Vision and passion are not easy to achieve, but if you dare to try, dare to act, you'll realize that nothing is impossible. Look at the world with a broad vision and never stop being passionate about what you do. Chapter 2. Continuous innovation. Steve Jobs was always someone who never accepted mediocrity, constantly seeking to break through limits and completely redefine how people interacted with technology. He didn't just want to improve existing technology, he wanted to revolutionize the way people used it. With Jobs, innovation wasn't just a goal, it was a way of life, a driving force that pushed him to create products that didn't merely meet the needs of users, but completely changed entire industries. Innovation, not just improvement, but a fundamental change. Jobs never settled for what existed, which is why the products he created were never just incremental improvements. They were radical changes that transformed entire industries. Every product he introduced had one thing in common. They weren't just pieces of technology, they were tools that fundamentally changed how people lived and worked. Take the iPhone, for example. It wasn't just a phone, it was a device that reshaped the mobile industry, the software market, and even global cultures. Before the iPhone, mobile phones were primarily used for calling and texting. But Jobs didn't see that as the limit. The iPhone was the perfect combination of a phone, computer, music player, and camera, all in one device. When the iPhone was launched, no one imagined that a mobile phone could transform the way people communicate, work, entertain, and consume information. Yet, Jobs proved otherwise. He created a device that people couldn't live without, a product that people would use daily for communication, work, and entertainment. iPad and MacBook, pushing technology even further. When Jobs introduced the iPad, he didn't just create a tablet, he opened up an entirely new industry. Before that, the tablet market wasn't even considered a serious category, and there was no standout product. Jobs asked the right question. Why can't we have a mobile device, easy to use, with a large screen, capable of working, entertaining, and connecting just like a computer, but lightweight and portable like a phone? And from that question, the iPad was born. What the iPad offered wasn't just a simple replacement for a laptop or phone. Jobs created a device that users could truly feel comfortable using for browsing the web, reading books, watching movies, and playing games, without needing to open a laptop or use a small phone. The iPad was the perfect blend of convenience and technology, setting a new standard for how we use mobile tech. But Jobs didn't stop there. The MacBook is another example of his relentless innovation in design and technology. Jobs never accepted products that were merely good enough. The MacBook is a combination of exceptional performance and sleek design with superior portability and powerful performance. But more importantly, Jobs redefined the idea of what a laptop should look like, breaking all the traditional rules of what a laptop should be. Light yet powerful, with a stunning display, an intuitive operating system, and an incredible battery life. Innovation that changed. Our mindset, Jobs' approach to innovation wasn't just about creating new products. It was about changing the way we think about technology in our lives. A standout example of this is the App Store, where Jobs revolutionized the way apps were distributed and used. Before the App Store, developing and distributing mobile software was cumbersome and complex. But Jobs removed all the barriers, creating a simple platform for both developers and users, where apps could be easily downloaded and used. This not only created a massive marketplace for software developers, but also made technology more accessible and user-friendly than ever before. This shift wasn't just about creating new tools. It was about changing the way people use technology to optimize their work and personal lives. Jobs understood that technology wasn't just a product to be used. It was a part of life, something that could make everything easier, faster, and more efficient. Innovation that changed the world. Products like the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook weren't just the result of technological development. They were symbols of continuous innovation. Jobs showed that innovation wasn't about simply improving what was already there. It was about having the ability to ask the right questions and daring to go against the norm. True innovation is about discovering paths that no one has thought of before, and Jobs did this with every product he created. How Jobs changed the tech industry wasn't just through products, but through the core values he instilled around design, simplicity, and creativity. Technology was no longer something rigid and cold. It became an inseparable part of life, helping people to connect, create, and break boundaries in ways they had never imagined. So, the biggest lesson we can learn from Steve Jobs is innovation isn't just about improvement. It's about completely changing the way we think about and use technology. If you can do this, you won't just create great products, you'll change the world. Chapter number 3. The connection between art and technology. Steve Jobs was a visionary who saw the potential to merge art with technology, and this synergy was one of the key secrets behind his success. It wasn't just about making products that worked well, but about creating a perfect fusion of functionality and aesthetics, where technology became something not only functional, but also emotionally engaging. This connection between art and technology is what made Apple products stand out. They didn't just offer great features. They provided an experience that was both functional and visually captivating. Art and technology are not separate jobs. Firmly believed that art and technology could work together, even complement each other. While most tech companies at the time focused on performance and functionality, Jobs introduced a completely new concept. A product needs to not only work well, but also be beautiful and easy to use. For Jobs, a product couldn't be just a cold, utilitarian tool. It had to be a work of art that people would want to interact with, to use, and to enjoy. Take the iPhone, for instance. Before Jobs created this device, mobile phones were primarily seen as tools for communication, not something people particularly loved. But with the iPhone, Jobs managed to combine sleek design with cutting-edge performance. The first iPhone wasn't just a phone, it was a revolutionary device that people couldn't imagine living without. Jobs had created a product that redefined communication, entertainment, and the very way we connect to the world. Beautiful design elevates the user experience. One of the most important aspects of Jobs' philosophy was user experience. He didn't just demand that Apple products be high-performing, he also wanted them to feel wonderful to use. When you hold an iPhone, iPad, or MacBook, you don't just see technology, you feel the beauty of the design. Details like crystal-clear screens, premium materials, and intuitive controls create a seamless experience, one that no other tech product at the time could offer. For Jobs, design wasn't just an accessory, it was the key differentiator that could determine whether a product would succeed or fail. He understood that in a world full of tech gadgets, beauty would make the difference. A product wasn't just a tool to solve a problem, it was an aesthetic experience, something that reflected the user's style and personality. Combining functionality and aesthetics, Jobs never accepted the idea that functionality and design couldn't coexist. To him, a product had to be perfect in both performance and appearance, and he achieved that with every Apple product. Take the MacBook Air, a super slim, lightweight laptop that still packed a powerful processor and stunning display, all housed in a sleek, minimalist design. It was a seamless blend of innovation and beauty, where neither technology nor design was compromised. Jobs constantly challenged the norms of design, never afraid to break convention. For example, when he launched the iPod, he chose to remove all physical buttons and replace them with a smooth, touch-sensitive interface. A design decision that wasn't just visually stunning, but also made the device incredibly intuitive. This bold choice revolutionized how people interacted with music players and set a new standard in product design. The art of simplicity. One of Jobs' favorite principles was the beauty of simplicity. He often said, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication." For Jobs, a product had to be easy to use, clear in its function, and a joy to interact with. This philosophy is evident in every Apple product, from the intuitive iOS interface to the clean, minimalist designs of products like the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook. Every detail was carefully crafted to make sure that users didn't feel overwhelmed by unnecessary complexity. Simplicity didn't mean cutting corners, though. Jobs believed that simplicity was about eliminating the unnecessary and focusing on what truly mattered. Every Apple product was stripped of superfluous elements, resulting in designs that felt sleek, elegant, and easy to use, but never sacrificing functionality in the process. Practical artworks. Each of Jobs' products wasn't just a gadget, they were works of art. A great example is the iMac G3, which, when it launched in 1998, completely defied conventional ideas of what a desktop computer should look like. The transparent, colorful design of the iMac broke the mold of gray, boxy desktop computers, making it a symbol of the future of tech and a statement of creativity and innovation. The iMac didn't just change the way people viewed computers, it changed the entire industry's approach to design. Conclusion: art and technology cannot be separated. The connection between art and technology wasn't just a business strategy for Steve Jobs. It was his grand vision of how technology could enrich people's lives in ways they never imagined. Jobs made sure that Apple's products were not only functional, but also beautiful and easy to use, making them an integral part of people's daily lives. This combination is what made Apple products symbols of creativity, elegance, and advancement, and it's what helped them build a tech empire that has yet to be matched. Jobs didn't just create products, he created experiences, products that people didn't just use, but loved and valued. And that's the secret behind Apple's continued success. Jobs' ability to blend art and technology into a seamless, user-centered experience, which has helped Apple stay ahead of the competition and turn Steve Jobs into a legend in the tech world. Chapter number 4: Concentration. Steve Jobs was a visionary who truly understood the power of focus, and one of the key reasons behind his success was his ability to concentrate on just a few critical products rather than spreading himself too thin across too many projects. While many tech companies tried to make as many products as possible, Jobs took the opposite approach. Focus on a few key products and make them extraordinary. This strategy allowed Apple to create groundbreaking products with exceptional quality, without wasting resources or diluting the company's efforts. Focused strategy for optimal resource. Allocation focus wasn't just about selecting products, it was also about how Jobs optimized every resource: time, money, and manpower. If you look at Apple's history, you'll notice a very clear strategy: not doing everything, but doing what truly mattered and could make the biggest impact on users. A clear example of this focus was when Jobs decided to cut away unnecessary products in the late 1990s. When he returned to Apple in 1997, he made the bold decision to eliminate redundant product lines, concentrating all resources on a few flagship products. This didn't just save money, it allowed Apple to intensify its creative capabilities and improve the core products, rather than chasing after every trend in the market. Not spreading resources. One of the main reasons Apple could consistently deliver high-quality products was because Jobs never allowed his team to get distracted. He believed that to create truly innovative products, everyone needed to be focused on one clear objective. This didn't just help Apple concentrate on the key products. It also meant that every team member had a deep understanding of every detail of the product, from design to technology. Take the iPhone, for example. When Jobs decided to develop the iPhone, he didn't let Apple's team work on several different phone models or get distracted by side projects. All efforts were funneled into creating the iPhone, a single device that would combine music, the internet, and phone calls into one. By focusing all of Apple's efforts on the iPhone, Jobs and his team were able to create a revolutionary product that completely changed the mobile phone industry. The less but better strategy. Steve Jobs never succumbed to the temptation of launching a multitude of products like many other companies did. He often said, "Excellence comes from doing less, but doing it really well." Apple didn't produce dozens of products every year like its competitors. Instead, they focused on a select few key products, and all of them were made flawlessly. iMac, iPhone, iPad, MacBook, each of these products was a masterpiece of technology, meticulously crafted to offer an exceptional user experience. Focus also fuels creativity. When you're not distracted by multiple projects, Jobs and his team were able to direct all their intelligence and energy into creativity. This enabled them to come up with truly unique and innovative ideas. Apple's creativity flourished because they weren't bogged down by trying to do everything. Instead, they focused on doing a few things extremely well. For instance, when Jobs introduced the iPad, he focused entirely on making the tablet a product that could replace personal computers, rather than just another tech gadget. Apple didn't waste its time on competing with other tablet makers or creating multiple lines of products. All energy was focused on making the iPad an industry-changing device, something that would forever change how people worked and entertained themselves. Focused decision-making. Steve Jobs was a decisive leader who had the ability to make decisions quickly and decisively, because he knew that by focusing on key products, decisions would be simpler and not clouded by distractions. A perfect example of this is the decision to launch the iPhone. When Jobs made the decision to eliminate physical buttons and rely entirely on a touchscreen interface, he didn't hesitate. He knew this was the only way to create a truly revolutionary product. Conclusion: focus as the key to success. In the fast-paced world of technology, focusing on key products is the secret to Apple's consistent leadership. Jobs wasn't someone who chased trends or tried to make everything for everyone. He focused on strategic products and never compromised on quality. This focus is what allowed Apple to not only create great products, but to build a strong brand that users loved and trusted. Focus isn't easy, but Jobs proved that it's the deciding factor that enables you to not only survive, but thrive in a highly competitive market. And that's why Apple continues to be a symbol of excellence and innovation in the tech industry. Chapter number 5, Inspirational Ability. One of the key factors that made Steve Jobs a legend in the tech world was his extraordinary ability to inspire. Not just as a leader, Jobs was a master storyteller who knew how to make his team understand the grand vision and the importance of the work they were doing. Behind every product, every strategy at Apple, was a compelling story that made everyone in the company, from designers to developers, feel that they were part of something much bigger. Inspiration as the lifeblood of Apple. Jobs didn't just talk about products. He talked about the future of technology, about how things that seemed impossible at the time could be changed. He communicated the belief in change, in creating things that had never existed before. This was one of the reasons why, when you walked into Apple, you didn't just feel like an employee. You felt like you were part of a revolution. Take, for example, when Jobs launched the iPhone in 2007. He didn't just talk about a new phone, he talked about the future of technology, about how the iPhone would change the world, from work to personal life. Jobs didn't sell a product, he sold a story, a future that people could believe in and look forward to. How did Jobs inspire? 1. Creating a sense of being. Part of something bigger. Jobs always made his team feel that they were not just working for money, but that they were part of something bigger. They were part of a mission to change the world. He never asked them to do mundane tasks. Instead, he connected their daily work to a long-term vision. For example, in a meeting with the iPod design team, Jobs said, "We're not just making a music player, we're creating a tool that will change how people experience music." This made every individual in the team feel that they weren't just creating software or hardware, they were part of something important that would change the world. 2. Telling inspirational stories. Jobs had a remarkable ability to turn abstract concepts into stories that were easy to understand. He used powerful, persuasive language to communicate the company's objectives. In his speeches, there was always a narrative, whether it was about the early struggles of starting Apple or the time when he was fired from the company he founded. These stories didn't just inspire, they made listeners feel like they too could achieve anything if they were persistent and creative. One famous story of Jobs is when he shared about the early days of building Apple. He told how, when Apple first launched the Macintosh, everyone laughed at them, saying, "How could a small company like Apple compete with giants like IBM?" But Jobs didn't just recount this story. He emphasized the courage and determination his team had to push forward, despite the odds. 3. Inspiring. Through his leadership style. Steve Jobs wasn't just a storyteller, he was also a passionate leader. One of the ways he inspired his team was through his own commitment and dedication. He lived and worked with the motto, "Make the best product," and he expected his team to do the same. Jobs was never satisfied with mediocrity, and he was never afraid to ask his team to achieve the impossible. A perfect example of this is the famous story of Jobs asking the iPhone design team to redo the home button several times, even though it was a relatively small improvement. He didn't do this to criticize, but to reinforce the importance of perfection in every detail. This commitment to quality created an environment of passion and dedication where everyone worked not just for a paycheck, but for the belief in the product they were building. 4. Encouraging creativity and embracing failure. A large part of how Jobs inspired his team was by encouraging creativity and innovation. Jobs wasn't afraid of failure, and he constantly pushed his team to experiment and think outside the box. His famous phrase, "Stay hungry, stay foolish," exemplified the thirst for knowledge and the relentless pursuit of innovation. For instance, after being fired from Apple, Jobs didn't just quit. Instead, he went on to found Next and Pixar, two companies that later contributed significantly to Apple's success. During this difficult time, Jobs learned valuable lessons about perseverance, creativity, and self-belief. Jobs created a culture of innovation. At Apple, Jobs wasn't just a boss, he was the person who sparked a culture of innovation. Everyone felt that they were part of a technology movement, and every decision they made could change the world. Because of this, Apple wasn't just a company. It was a movement, where people worked not just for profit, but for the belief in the vision and the change they could create. Conclusion. Steve Jobs was a man who had the incredible ability to inspire his team. He wasn't just a great leader, he was an exceptional storyteller who knew how to connect people to a shared vision. Jobs didn't just make work feel like a job, he made it feel like part of a grand journey, one that was meant to change the world. And it's this ability to inspire that made Apple, under Jobs' leadership, one of the greatest companies in the world. Chapter number 6. Create exceptional user experiences. Steve Jobs wasn't just the creator of groundbreaking technology products. He was a visionary who understood that user experience was the key to a product's success. For Jobs, technology wasn't just a tool to get things done, but an experience that had to be flawless, one that made users feel that the product was an inseparable part of their daily lives. This emphasis on user experience is one of the main reasons why Apple has become a symbol of innovation and elegance in the tech world. User experience at the heart of every design. One of Steve Jobs' most famous quotes is, "Design is not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works." For Jobs, design wasn't just about aesthetics. It was about creating a perfect blend of function and user perception. Jobs wanted every Apple product to provide a pleasant, intuitive, and connected experience from the moment users interacted with it. Surely you remember the feeling of swiping your finger across the first iPhone screen or the smoothness of the trackpad on a MacBook. Those are the delicate details that Jobs and his team worked tirelessly to perfect, ensuring that every interaction felt smooth and seamless. iPhone, a revolution in user experience. The iPhone is a perfect example of how Jobs understood the power of user experience. When Apple introduced the iPhone in 2007, Steve Jobs wasn't just unveiling a new phone. He was introducing a completely different experience than what the mobile phone market had seen before. Before the iPhone, most smartphones relied on physical keys and complicated interfaces, making it difficult for users to interact with the device. However, Jobs and his team introduced a simple touchscreen without physical buttons and a clean, intuitive interface that made it easy for anyone to operate and enjoy technology without frustration. Attention to every detail. It wasn't just about simplicity in design. Jobs paid close attention to the feel of the product in your hands. iPhones, iPads, and MacBooks aren't just well designed. They feel like works of art when you hold them. For example, when you hold an iPhone, you can feel the smoothness of its metal casing, the gloss of the glass screen, and the perfectly calibrated weight. These small details were carefully designed to create an immersive experience for the user. Take the MacBook Air, which was the thinnest laptop in the world when it launched in 2008. It wasn't just a beautifully designed product, it also delivered a superior user experience. By eliminating unnecessary features and minimizing weight without sacrificing performance, the MacBook Air showed that minimalism was the key to creating a product that was both functional and delightful to use. Creating a bond between the product and the user. Jobs wasn't just focused on making innovative products, he was also concerned about the relationship between the product and the user. For him, every Apple product wasn't just a tool, it was an integral part of the user's life. You've probably bought an iPhone and instantly felt that it became a part of your daily routine, not just because of its features, but because of the simplicity, connectivity, and convenience it offered. Apple succeeded in making its products a natural extension of the user's daily life, whether it was checking email, listening to music, or even paying bills. Another example is the Apple Watch. It's not just a smartwatch, it's a deeply connected tool to users' lives, helping them track their health, reminding them to move, and notifying them of important messages. Its comfort, style, and functionality make the Apple Watch a product that users aren't just happy to own, but proud to wear. Apple Store, a revolutionary shopping experience. It wasn't only about the products. Jobs also redefined the shopping experience by designing the Apple Store. Apple stores weren't just places to buy products, they were experience centers where users could interact with the products and receive expert support from staff. Apple transformed the store into an essential part of the user journey, allowing customers to not just purchase a product, but also immerse themselves in the Apple universe. Conclusion. Steve Jobs understood that technology wasn't just about features, it was about the feeling and experience of using the product. He created products that didn't just change the way we live, they created experiences that users felt deeply connected to. Apple isn't just a tech company, it's a symbol of creativity, where every product is designed not only to serve a function, but also to bring joy and convenience to the user's life. User experience is an inseparable part of Apple's success. And this is one of the reasons why Steve Jobs remains one of the most influential figures in the tech industry. Chapter number 7. Accept risks and failures. Steve Jobs wasn't just a creative genius, he was also someone who embraced risk with courage and conviction. Throughout his career, he never hesitated to step out of his comfort zone, experiment with bold ideas, and sometimes face painful failures. But what's remarkable is that rather than letting failure defeat him, Jobs turned those failures into valuable lessons and used them as fuel for further innovation. Risk as a key to creativity. One of the qualities that made Jobs so admired was his ability to accept risk and learn from failures. He never viewed failure as the end, but rather as an essential part of the creative process. Jobs famously said, "The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do." And he proved this time and again with each product and decision in his career. Apple Lisa. A failure, but a priceless lesson. Many people may not remember Apple Lisa, one of the biggest product failures for Apple in the 1980s. Lisa was a personal computer with a graphical user interface, GUI, which was groundbreaking for its time, but it was too expensive and impractical for most consumers. When it launched, Apple Lisa faced massive criticism and struggled with poor sales. However, rather than being discouraged, Jobs learned valuable lessons from Lisa's failure. Instead of giving up, he improved upon the mistakes made and used those lessons to develop and refine the Macintosh, which would later become a milestone in the history of personal computing. Macintosh wasn't just a product. It was a revolution in user-friendly computing, built from the lessons Jobs had learned from Lisa. Next, another risk, another learning opportunity. After being ousted from Apple in 1985, Jobs didn't stop. Instead, he founded Next, aiming to create powerful computers for businesses and universities. Next didn't succeed commercially and failed to gain the attention Jobs had hoped for. However, Next was one of the most pivotal points in his career. as it was here that Jobs developed Next Step, the operating system that would later form the foundation for macOS. Despite Next's commercial failure, the experience taught Jobs how to refine his focus on product design and the importance of simplicity, user experience, and elegance in design. While Next may not have been the massive success Jobs wanted, it laid the foundation for Apple's eventual resurgence. iPhone, a big risk with a big reward. When Jobs decided to create the iPhone, he was taking an enormous risk. In 2007, the mobile phone market was dominated by Nokia and BlackBerry, and Apple had little experience in the mobile phone industry. However, Jobs didn't fear stepping into uncharted territory, and he embraced the risk of creating a revolutionary product. The iPhone wasn't just a phone, it was a fusion of a phone, computer, and music player all in one. When it launched in 2007, the iPhone didn't just change the mobile phone industry, it transformed the entire technology landscape. Jobs was willing to take bold risks to create a device no one had imagined, and in doing so, he created a paradigm shift in the tech world. Learning from failure and moving forward, Jobs was someone who never allowed failure to stop him. Instead, he viewed it as an essential step in the journey toward innovation. His failures became building blocks for his eventual successes. In fact, it's his courage to embrace risk and learn from setbacks that allowed him to discover new opportunities and create products that would change the world. We can take an important lesson from Jobs. Failure isn't the end, it's a necessary part of the path to creativity and success. No one can avoid failure, but if you can embrace it, learn from it, and improve, it will become a stepping stone to greater achievements. Conclusion. Steve Jobs wasn't afraid of failure. He understood that risk and failure are unavoidable parts of the creative and innovation process. It was his bold decisions and ability to learn from failure that ultimately led him to create products that changed the world and turned Apple into one of the most innovative and influential companies of all time. This is what makes him one of the greatest tech founders in history. The book, Steve Jobs: The Secrets of Innovation and Creativity, is not just a story about the life and career of Steve Jobs, but also a valuable guide on creativity, leadership, and vision in the tech world. Through vivid stories, the book delves into the secrets of Jobs' success, the key factors that helped him build Apple into one of the most innovative and influential companies in the world. One of Jobs' standout qualities was his vision and passion. He always saw what others could not, and with his burning passion, Jobs created products that not only met current needs, but redefined how we live. Products like the iPhone, iPad, and MacBook are proof that Jobs didn't just create technology, he created tools that changed the world. Continuous innovation was one of Jobs' most prominent traits. He always sought to break old boundaries and create disruptive products, such as the iPhone, a device that wasn't just a phone, but a technological revolution. Not stopping there, he also merged art and technology, creating products that were not only functional, but also beautiful, user-friendly, and offered exceptional user experiences. Jobs was also a master at inspiring others. He wasn't just a brilliant leader, he was also an incredible storyteller, making people around him feel that their collective goal was part of a larger mission. His presentations were always compelling, making the audience feel like they were part of a tech revolution. His focus on long-term goals and relentless pursuit of perfection is what made him an icon in the tech industry. Lastly, Jobs was willing to embrace risks and failure as inseparable parts of the creative journey. Major failures like Apple Lisa or Next were key learning experiences, helping him improve and innovate to eventually create iconic products like the iPhone, MacBook, and iPad. This book is not just a theory of creativity, but a powerful, inspiring story that makes you realize that success doesn't come from easy paths, but from challenges, failures, and persistence. If you found this information helpful and inspiring, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Summary Update YouTube channel for more detailed, engaging, and useful book summaries. Let's continue exploring more amazing books together so that every day becomes an opportunity to learn and grow. Thank you for watching.